Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to IK Tech Talks Live. This is Ryan here, and this week we're going over a brand new app, MixBox CS for iPad. If you're not familiar, we did an episode a couple weeks back on our Mac PC version of this app, and you should definitely check it out. They're really cool tools for both platforms, and the best part is that you can now transfer your sets between the two. So if you do make mobile music, you can go between your iPad and your Mac PC super seamlessly. I'm going to be going over how to do all that, as well as all the different functions and sounds that you can get in this thing. So, with that said, we're also going to be giving away a copy of MixBox CS at the very end of this episode. So all you guys who have an iPad and make mobile music, get ready for that giveaway, and make sure you guys have an IK username. We're going to use the email associated with that to give you your promo code for the app. So, all right, let's go ahead and get started and jump right in. Okay, so when you first load the app, you're going to see I've loaded up a preset here. It's called Acoustic Drum Bus, but we can initialize that. Let's tap this bottom preset, and you're going to see you can go to the top menu and select Initialize, Save As, all the basic stuff that you would have when you're using presets on Mac PC. But you also have this cool Share button, which you're probably not too familiar with unless you're a mobile user. You have messages, email. You could send it over Skype. However you want to send this preset over, you can send this preset to your Mac or your PC and use it immediately, or vice versa. Say you already have a bunch of stuff on your PC and you just want to keep going, and maybe just bring an iPad to the gig, or you want to bring an iPad to the jam session, whatever. This is going to be your way to do it, and it's super simple. So let's close out that window. We're not going to share anything right now, but let's use that initialize button that I spoke about. So it's going to warn you before you do it, but it's going to clear all your slots. Now, if you didn't see on the top of the screen, we have 8 racks, which is really cool. And we also have 8 slots in each of those 8 racks. And you're probably thinking, how are you going to use 8 racks on iPad? And that's all through this intuitive settings menu. So if you go here and you click Audio Setup, you're going to see an audio MIDI setup like you would on your Mac PC. So you guys who are familiar with it, you're probably going to already know what to do here. You have your sample rate, your buffer size. So if you hear clicks and pops, raise your buffer size up. If you have a faster iPad, you could probably keep your buffer low. This is an iPad Pro Gen 1, and I've had no problems with 256 buffer. And I'm using iOS audio, but if you connect an iRig, you can use that here. I'm actually going to be using my Pro Duo I/O to send this audio out into my iRig stream on my computer, so that way you guys can hear everything that I'm doing. You can see my I/O setup, which is just like if you guys use Pro Tools or anything like that. It just means your left input can be set to any of these racks. We're set to rack 1 right now, but we're not going to be using live input. You could set channel 2, which is going to be your R, by just simply tapping. And then you also have your output options. So you can output your audio interface to rack 1, 2, 3, and so on. So we're not going to be using direct audio too much today. We're going to be using audio demos, but they use the same concept, and that's why I went over it. So let's go ahead and check out the audio demo player real quick, and I'll show you why we're going to pull that up. If you look at the rack button at the bottom, you can send that to any of your racks. So say you wanted to jam along with these audio demo drums, it's actually really cool to do so. You could put the bass on. You could load your own audio demos here with the quick tap of a button. You know, you can pick your music library, file manager. With the new iOS, it's so simple to be able to just put your files and manage them all from within an iPad. It's kind of insane. No more fiddling around with different workarounds and stuff like that. This is just quick and to the point. So let's continue to take a look at the app. I already have a drum loop loaded up, and it's set to loop, right? So I have the volume going. Let's put the playhead to the front, and let's check out a couple features before we press play. So you do have some presets here. We went over the rack presets, and you can see we're on rack 1. We can load up to 8 different presets on each rack. You can also load a song preset, which is going to be if you have a jam, you use a specific I/O setup, you use a specific preset for every single rack, stuff like that. It's going to be really useful for those kinds of jam sessions and creative kind of sit downs. So you can initialize here, but we're not going to touch the song right now. Let's go ahead and just load a simple preset. Let's go to drums, and we're just going to pick a basic drum bus. That's what I had before, acoustic drum bus. So before we even touch the preset and the modules load, you're going to see on the left-hand side, there's a sidechain button, which is really cool. You could turn this on and off here and select your sidechain input. So say you wanted to have your drums on channel 2, your guitar on channel 1, and have them interact. You can do that. And it also works in AUV3, which is what we're going to do at the very end of this episode. So Let's keep jumping into it because there's actually a lot of stuff to cover, even though it's a small app. And this is going to be a slightly shorter session for you guys. So let's go ahead and take a look at these input and output sliders. You're going to be able to add or remove some levels there. Super easy. You have a CPU meter on the bottom right-hand corner. Now, remember, I am recording video while I'm doing all this, so it's going to be running a little bit higher than usual. Now, you do have a global BPM at the bottom right-hand corner. You have undo and redo to the left of the MixBox logo. So you have a bunch of different tools that you'd normally have in Mac PC. One of the next things we're going to do is tap this button in the bottom left-hand corner to show the dry wet options. If you guys know MixBox, you know this already. You can use compression, delay, anything to just kind of blend the two together and pull up a really unique sounding preset. And it's really cool for sound design specifically. You don't have to worry about using an aux send or anything like that. So the next thing we want to go over is going to be this guy in the lower bottom left-hand corner. It's going to be our module presets. So you can use these to save your different presets for different modules and load different presets for, say, acoustic guitar just on the British EQ. And you can compile, all of your 8 different modules with presets and then have 8 different rack presets and then a song preset that contains all of this information. So you can get to jamming just real quick and you don't have to remember any settings. There's no more writing down stuff on paper and pulling it back up like it was back in the day, And this is all analog gear, which is not something you see all the time on iOS. There's a lot of good plugins, but these are really good analog models that I think you guys will find really interesting, especially if you're in the mobile music creating world. So let's get to it, and we're going to play some music, and I'm going to just scroll around and show off how the interface is used. In a couple minutes, we're going to be giving away MixBox CS, so make sure you guys have an IK multimedia account, and if you don't, create one now while we're playing back these tunes. Okay, so you can kind of get a flavor of a couple of different presets, at least for the drums. And if you guys haven't checked out the stuff on Mac PC, definitely do. And if you liked it, I think it's worth jumping into the iOS app while it's on this introductory price. But of course, I'm here to show off the app and how to use it. So let's show you how to do that. If you want to move modules from slot to slot, you can press and hold, and you can drag them across. Now, when you do that, you can also pick your modules up here at the top screen, just like in any other IK app. You just tap the name and it loads. So you can pick your module and move them around wherever you want in 2 seconds. That's pretty much the gist of the entire app that I've covered. Is just drag and drop, click and tap. Super simple stuff, and it's implemented really well, and I think you guys will find it really useful, especially if you guys are trying to make music on the fly and you're just trying to reach for knobs and you don't want to learn new tools, or you just want to have the analog gear in front of your face, turn some knobs, and it sounds good. This is the tool for that. And if you know what you're doing, even better. It's going to be excellent for you to use stuff like the EQ-PG to dial in specific frequencies to really kind of make your mixes pop or make your jams get to the next level, And it also has a lot of creative influence too. I love throwing some reverb on some stuff. You can use it with your mixer as an aux. If you use the iRig Pro Duo, check out our iRigs. It'll show you why this thing is so cool and how you can really use it in so many different environments. But anyway, if we continue on, you're going to see that there's some stuff in the help menu, which I urge you guys, if you do have the app, to use this. There's a nice on-screen tutorial, a user manual, and a bunch of stuff. This tutorial will pop up when you first start the app, and it's just going to walk you through all of the different things that you can do in the app and how to use them. So you can see the song menu, the rack overview, settings menu. And I urge you guys to go through this if you are checking out the app. It is very helpful just to kind of get you going and get you through everything that you can do, because it's a little overwhelming at first. But anyway, let's go ahead and let's start this giveaway. I'm going to ask the question, what is your favorite module in MixBox? Now, if you don't know what modules are in MixBox, go back a little bit in the video or look at the screen right now, or go to our website and check it out a little bit more in depth. You know, we want to hear what you guys think is the coolest thing, and what do you, if you don't particularly love any of the modules, let us know what your favorite feature is. Let us know what you guys like about MixBox, and that's going to be your entry. Just put your IK username at the very end. We're going to pick a winner. In a couple of moments, right after the thank you pops up, take a look at the chat for the mod. And thank you guys again for tuning in so far. So now that we've gone over the standalone app, while we let the answers roll in, we're going to go over some AU stuff and try to knock out everything that we can here. So let's jump into an AU based app like AUM, and we'll show you guys how to use the sidechain, and then we'll go into Cubasis and talk automation. All right, cool. So we're in this app. It's called AUM, and if you're not familiar with this is a DAW style recording app, but it's almost like a mixer, less of a timeline more so than a mixer. So let's check out how to use this. You just press tap. You just tap on the little plus button. It'll show you the options. We're going to create an audio track. Today we're going to pick hardware input. Say we were going to use the input left for our guitar. Now nothing is plugged into my left input right now. This is just for demonstration purposes only. If you go here, you have an insert, just like in a mixer. We're going to pick audio units, and that's where you're going to see MixBox. You're going to see audio unit V3. Normally, they just call it AU depending on the app. So once MixBox loads, all you got to do is tap the little icon, and you have it there on screen. And the best part is that you can resize it. So you can see my huge screen here. All my presets are going to retain from all the different versions. So if you wanted to create an entire track here, it's super easy to do so. So now let's go ahead and let's just close MixBox. I want to show you how to do the sidechain in AUM, because it did kind of get me a little bit. If you create another track, and let's say you wanted to use Sample Tank, one of our great inter-app audio apps. You go to inter-app audio for your input options. You're going to scroll down. You're going to see all the apps that you have available. And let's pick Sample Tank CS. So without even opening Sample Tank CS, you can already see that there's an insert slot here. And notice that there's a little line over to it. So if you click here, you're going to be able to see a lot of options. Now let's pick bus send. You see bus send A, right? So you're seeing how the routing works. Now you're going to see multi-bus audio unit instances. That means audio units that have multiple buses. Great, right? So we're going to pick MixBox 1. So now you can see it's moving to the first channel. So let's go to our MixBox. Let's Let's go ahead and load up a dynamic processor. We're going to go to the Black 76 just for now. And let's go to our sidechain. We're going to turn him on. And now let's play some audio from Sample Tank, and you're going to see that it actually does interact with each other. You're going to see that the meter from Sample Tank is interacting with the VU meter inside of MixBox. So that's really cool to kind of be able to control your dynamics, and say you wanted to have your sub kind of pump with a song, or you wanted to have your guitar the loudest and most present part of your mix, but you didn't want to keep automating your volume on your different volume controls, like your bass and your drums and all that. So really cool tool. But yeah, so that is side chaining, super easy in AUM. Now let's check out Cubasis and how to just do some quick automation. Okay, great. So now we're in this app. It's called Cubasis. And if you're not familiar with Cubasis, it's an excellent DAW-like app. Or, I mean, it is a DAW, but it's for iPad. So it's a little bit like Cubase. It's by the same makers. And they did an excellent job on this thing. And I have to say, it's one of the most intuitive things. There's other apps out there like Auria. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Maybe Auria. But there's a lot of different tools. Like GarageBand's even a great tool. And GarageBand, you can take your projects from from iOS and transfer them over to Mac. And the cool part about that is that all the audio moves over, all the MIDI moves over perfectly in time. So you just replace your plugins, and you have an excellent sounding Mac session. Good to go. So let's get started here, and we're just going to create an audio track. For this example, we're just going to use MixBox as an insert. And then we're going to show you guys how to quickly do some automation. So if you look on the left-hand side, just like in Cubase, you have routing, you have insert effects, you have all these different options. We're going to tap to add effect, and we're going to select the audio units option. Now you're going to see MixBox there again. And now you have a nice little menu at the bottom, which has all the MixBox settings, which is pretty cool. You can make it full screen if you want, if you can't get those controls. But if you just want to see the whole mixer, it's kind of cool to have this option. Now, I'm not going to play any audio for this example, but let's go ahead and we're just going to grab, let's say, let's grab an 808 just to have it open and just to show you guys that it's there. And we're going to automate, say, or better yet, let's load a new module in at the end. I can just show you guys how all of this handles, because it really does handle well. And I'm only on an iPad Pro 1st generation. I'm not using the newest and greatest iPad. I think it does pretty good. Normally, I would take a digital delay and I'll probably ride the feedback. So what I'm going to do is try to do that here. So look at our top right. You're going to see read and write. That's what these are. So all you have to do is press the W to turn on write and press play. Once you move knobs, it's going to write the automation, and then you can just turn the W off so it doesn't rewrite over that. It'll then read. That's what the R stands for. So read and write. It's kind of like how you use it on a Mac PC. You know, it's kind of becoming one and the same to an extent. You know, those guys who do make mobile music will attest that it is a very awesome tool. I'm sure you guys who don't use mobile music might be thinking, you know, it's not as awesome as they might say it is, but you might not have used an iPad with music making tools in a little while, because, man, everything's gotten so crazy on iPad, it's hard to tell the difference sometimes. And there's people who use these tools really well. I personally like Mac PC, but I will never say that an iPad will not produce great sounding audio, because I've seen people do it, and I've seen people make great mixes just on an iPad. I've seen people use the iPad as just a tool for different things when it comes to making music as well. So definitely worth looking into. You know, if you haven't checked out the MixBox CS app, now's your chance to win it. We're going to be giving that away in just a second. I've let the answers pour in for quite some time. Sorry, the automation is pretty cool to go over. I'm sorry that I couldn't demonstrate it too in depth. The screen recorder doesn't like to play well with audio-based apps, but it is very cool how you can do all this stuff in the box now, and it's now all in the form. The box is now an iPad, so you can carry it anywhere. But thanks again, guys, for tuning in, and we'll see you guys soon. Congratulations in advance to the winner, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. And we'll see you guys on Thursday for Jesse's live stream when it comes to tuning into basic Amplitude settings. Now, he will be using Amplitude 4, but it's definitely worth checking out, especially if you're getting into Amplitude 5. So we'll see you guys there, and thanks again. Have a good one, guys.